Alright, so we're through to the winners final of Fleur-de-lis, and we've got Beastie up against Chrysaor in game number 2 here of the best of 3. Beastie taking game number 1 in Ottoman versus English. This series he's going to be playing Malians against the Rus. So we've got Yellow Trunks Beastie on Mali, going for that early pit mine. He's going to add an early pair of houses next to it as well, or just distance gathering the close trees around his town centre. Rus player, Chrysaor, Purple Trunks here today, and he's got that early cabin going for the lumber camp. I don't know why he's actually moved it over there, it seems a bit weird, but okay. So we got some nice gold generation here. Beastie actually going up to 4 houses early on here. Is he looking... No, 6 houses. Is he looking to not actually gather any early game gold? Sorry guys, I don't really play a lot of Mali, so it's interesting seeing how Beastie's approaching this. Already up to the 6 houses. So I believe these are half the price of a regular house, but they only have half the population space and a little bit less health than a regular house. Not quite, I mean it's a little bit more than half, but yeah, it's still pretty low. But in saying that, it's going to be phenomenal gold generation here for Beastie. Like, it's sort of the equivalent of, what, 3 villages on the gold mine now for him, almost? So it's going to be some great gold income there for Beastie. Well, Chrysaor on the Rus, going to have great free gold generation himself with the hunting cabin. And with the fact that he's got the kill bounties on the wolves, the deer, you'll name it. Although they've lost the kill bounty on sheep these days. Chrysaor up to 120, and if he can get to 200-ish, that'd be nice, because then we still got to find this. I was going to say, when he gets to, well, at least 175, if he takes the ball, it pushes him to 250, which means a slightly quicker tick rate on hunting gold generation. But the main thing is another 5% on that villager food gather rate. The hunting cabin gold generation, you know, sort of inconsequential really, particularly on a map like this where it doesn't look like the hunts are particularly close to lots of trees. On other maps it's a bit different. There's some spawns where you're lucky enough that your cabin pretty much intersects 2 clumps of trees and you're getting like 30 or 40 gold out of it. But that's not the case for our Rus player today. While our Mali player is continuing to add pit mines. He's now adding a trade network along with the mining camp as well. So is he going to set up for trade tolling, I think? Because, I mean, trade is normally pretty good. It's just sort of expensive to afford all the caravans for it. But if you can do it with tolling, or with the increased movement speed offered by the Mongol trade networks, then it really can be quite effective for Mali or for the Mongols to play on this sort of map with that market heavy style. Recon tends to play a bit of it too on Mongols most of the time. I've seen players like Snooper play a bit of Marley and really relish in the gold income that they offer. So Beastie getting on the other pit mine here. He hasn't at all struggled to do so this game. Chrysler's not put any pressure on him early on here. At the moment our Rus player is just sitting back and chilling. No super early aggression from him at all. So Beastie is going to start walling up. It's not too expensive for him to wall up on this map either. So Beastie's actually starting to make cattle. I suppose the pit mine, it's going to gather him enough that he doesn't really have to worry about much else other than, yeah, food and wood around his starting town centre. He's not going up to second TC or anything too crazy early on, which Chrysler is. Here lies what could have been a town centre. So cool. It's another scrapped government project. When will they learn? It's Beastie finishing off his wall up. Just gathering from both mines at this stage. So Beastie investing in a second mining camp pretty early here. But other than that, everything in his build is just super tight, super efficient early on here. I think Beastie's army kill value is being skewed by the cattle too. So he's going for Farimba Garrison. For whatever reason, it counts towards army value as well. Imba. Beastie's hacking the army value stats. Double range here for Chrysler, but if he's going to be coming up against Age 3 Marley, he might need something to deal with heavy armor. But I assume he's going to want to get towards his own castle age very soon. He particularly will once he notices Beastie's going there. Actually, Beastie's got the trade network here, but he's not really making any use of it. Does that reach far back enough that it'll actually sort of work, or should he have put it about here? More houses for Chrysler, but here we go. Oh shit, he'll be thinking. Beastie is castle age. So Musafati warriors, not so great against the archers actually. But in saying that, there's javelin throwers that can be just as easily researched who are great against the archers. And Donso, even though they are spears, they actually do throw their own javelin periodically. I think it's like every 10 or 12 seconds. So they can also, for a spearman unit, they actually don't fare too badly against ranged. Muso Fatty are like a sort of a man-at-arms that's anti-armor, so they're even better against knights as well, but they were also worse against archers than the man-at-arms type units and the palace guard type units. Because palace guards and man-at-arms are pretty much interchangeable, but these guys, these are actually a light armor unit. So they get fucked up by archers. They don't fare so badly against crossbows, or they wouldn't if they weren't so brittle. I think their health pool's that low enough that they lose out anyway. Graciel, plenty of archers. He's going to be able to defend this little run by. But he can't really field knights against these Musafati warriors all that easily. A bit like spearmen. Except without the nice snare on hit. Right, so you're not looking to overextend. He's going to try and pinch some relics from around the map though. Right, so you're going for Abbey of the Trinity, but by the time it's there, it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of relics, because Beastie's going to snatch up this one as well. It might really only leave this top side one for him. Graciel is actually repositioning. He would have seen the sacred site tick up. It's not because Beastie wants it, it's because he wanted a relic on the other side of it. Now, got a lot of javelin throwers in production from the Farimba garrison. Because it sort of works like a Burgrave, but you can produce everything and it's 20% cheaper. Is pretty much the way it works. Except instead of building 5 times as fast, it builds 5 units at once at about the build speed of 2 of the units, I think is the idea. So it's not quite as strong as a Burgrave in terms of the production speed, but it does offer that cost reduction on top of, you know, net being quicker to produce stuff. And this is really nice for Beastie. He's taken the 3rd pit mine there, so Graciel's never really made any attempt to slow down his gold income at all here. Beastie kicking and running at the rear side of Graciel's base. It's annoying because eventually this wood's going to run out. You're going to have to go back over this side anyway. Graciel's going to get one of the relics. You mentioned that any of the others so far? I don't think so. He's just picked up the one up here. The relic count does favour Beastie. 3-0 at the moment, with 1 on the way for each player. Beastie is going to be quicker on the sacred site control as well. Graciel getting his what do we got here? Steel arrows, so range damage on the way. But saying that at the moment, looks like he's going to be mostly relying on melee, so he can really pump out a huge number of, say, crossbows. Actually, no, not crossbows, well, just more archers even, but then he's got to use them sparingly against javelin throws, and Donso is sort of like an improved spearman, really. Another sacred site under control. by Beastie. And it looks like Chryscior's going to be able to clean them up. I mean, the Warrior Monk has an attack. No other monk in the game does. So none of the imams, or the scholars. The Rus player going to be able to clean up that imam and then go back and capture. Ooh, but Beastie's going to be able to get a... Whoa! Yeah, Chryscior's not unlucky in that he doesn't see this imam go past. It's a little bit too slow. A little bit too quick, I should say. Beastie instantly got the jab throwers focusing down the archers there. So mix of Musafati and Donso is quite nice, because you can engage the knights at range and then sort of have an anti-armor unit as well as a spearman unit attacking them. Sort of like going mixed man-at-arms spears on the other sibs, but even better with Donso spear throw. Oh, and this is quite cheeky. There's a Musafati warrior in the base here, just denying that gold gathering there for Chryscior, and he does desperately need it at the moment. Not a lot of gold in the bank for him. Beastie's actually slipping behind in terms of fill count, but I mean, he's got 1 TC to his opponent's 2, but to his credit, he's got all these houses incoming as well. Huge amount of gold gathering for our Mali player. As long as they've got a pit mine down, the gold veins can basically just last forever. So he's got the 4, soon to be 4 fully saturated gold mines. Yeah, he's got the Sacred Victory on the way, so quick clock's ticking for Chryscior. He needs to try and mass up enough to mount a good push against this scary Mali army. It's a lot of jab throwers as well. Just enough Donso in the mix to ward off the knights too. Jab throwers having to kite against the knights, and they don't deal the greatest damage against them at all. Those knights are an expensive loss for Chryscior, and I don't know if he can keep sustaining this fight. Beastie's not really producing a lot out of his other production facilities, really just lying on Farimba Garrison at the moment. I mean, it's cost effective to do things this way. I think he knows he took a good fight there and that he is slightly ahead of Chryscior, so rather than blow all his resources booming as much as possible, he might be able to work towards age 4 here. That might really rattle Chryscior depending on what landmark he goes for. A lot of villages, a lot of markets being added here for Beastie. Really wants that toll economy to start kicking off. Give me a market at the other side. Chryscior neutralizing a sacred, going to be able to take it back, because he does have the warrior monk on it. Beastie picking off a villager there. Warrior monk's going to have to get the fuck out of there. Beastie. Fort of the Huntress. It's actually stealths nearby infantry units. And gives Musafati units first strike, so those guys will have an extra break stealth damage, like an ambush attack, like a charge attack. He's careful not to throw too many Donso away. That's a lot of archers there, but he's got a shitload of jab throwers in the back line. His own Donso should be able to clean up a lot of these knights. So you're having to fight an uphill battle in terms of the population at the moment, and GG. Beastie takes game number 2 and is through to the grand final.